You're seeing this right now because something inside you knows. You know that shift is happening. You know that your life is about to change in ways you can barely comprehend right now. And I want to tell you something that might sound simple, but it's absolutely true. You're not here by accident. This moment, right now, where you're reading these words, where you're feeling that stirring in your soul, this is not random. This is the universe conspiring to wake you up to the greatest season of your entire existence. Now, I've spent decades studying human potential, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that there are moments in life when everything converges. Moments when the person you've been, the lessons you've learned, the pain you've endured, and the dreams you've carried all come together like a symphony reaching its crescendo. You're standing at that threshold right now. You might not see it clearly yet. You might be looking at your current circumstances and thinking, how can this be my biggest season? Look at where I am. Look at what I don't have. Look at what I've lost. But that's exactly the point. The caterpillar doesn't know it's about to become a butterfly. It just knows something is changing. Let me share something with you that transformed my entire understanding of how life works. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Read that again. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This isn't just some nice philosophical idea to write in a journal. This is the fundamental principle that separates people who live extraordinary lives from people who live in quiet desperation. Your perception creates your reality. Not sometimes, not when you're feeling good, always. Every single moment of every single day. Right now, you might be facing challenges that seem insurmountable. Maybe you've lost someone you love. Maybe your bank account doesn't reflect your dreams. Maybe your health isn't what you want it to be. Maybe relationships have crumbled. Maybe you've failed at something important to you. And here's what I want you to understand. These aren't obstacles to your biggest season. These are the preparation for it. Everything, and I mean everything, that has happened to you up until this moment has been preparing you for what's about to unfold. You see, most people spend their entire lives waiting for conditions to be perfect before they step into their greatness. They say things like, when I have more money, then I'll start that business. When I lose weight, then I'll put myself out there. When I'm more confident, then I'll take that risk. When the timing is right, then I'll make my move. But here's the truth that will set you free. The timing is never right. The conditions are never perfect. The universe doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The universe waits for you to make a decision. Your biggest season begins the moment you decide it. Begins. Not when everything is lined up perfectly. Not when you have all the answers. Not when you've figured out every step of the path. It begins when you make a choice, right now in this moment, to see yourself differently, to see your life differently, to understand that you are not a victim of circumstances but a creator of experiences. I want you to think about something for a moment. Think about the most successful, fulfilled, joyful people you know or have read about. Do you think they got there because everything was easy for them? Do you think they faced fewer challenges than you? Absolutely not. In fact, most of them faced more. But here's the difference. They didn't let their circumstances define them. They let their vision pull them forward. They understood that the size of your problems is directly proportional to the size of your purpose. If you're facing massive challenges right now, congratulations. You've been called to something massive. The universe is always giving you exactly what you need, even when it looks like the opposite. When you lose something, the universe is creating space for something better. When a door closes, it's because you're being redirected to a door that's actually meant for you. When you face resistance, it's because you're building the strength you'll need for the next level. Nothing is random. Nothing is punishment. Everything is preparation. But here's where most people get stuck. They understand this intellectually, but they don't live it. They read these ideas, they nod their heads, they feel inspired for a moment, and then they go right back to their old patterns of thinking. They go right back to complaining about what's wrong, focusing on what's missing, dwelling on past failures, and wondering why life isn't giving them what they want. And the reason they stay stuck is because they're trying to change their circumstances without changing themselves. Let me tell you something that might shake you up a little bit. You cannot solve a problem from the same level of consciousness that created it. If you're facing the same problems over and over again, if you're attracting the same kind of toxic relationships, if you keep hitting the same financial ceiling, if you keep experiencing the same disappointments, it's not because the world is against you, it's because you haven't changed your inner world. You're still operating from the same beliefs, the same fears, the same limited sense of what's possible for you. Your biggest season requires a new version of you, not a slightly improved version, not you with a few better habits. A completely new way of being, a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing yourself and your place in this world. And this isn't about becoming someone you're not. This is about becoming who you truly are, underneath all the conditioning, all the fear, all the stories you've been telling yourself about your limitations. You were born with everything you need, already inside you. Think about that. A tiny seed contains the entire blueprint for a massive tree. It doesn't need to become something it's not. It needs to stop resisting its own nature. It needs to allow what's already within it to express itself. You're the same way. You don't need to acquire worthiness. You don't need to earn the right to live an extraordinary life. You need to remember that you already have it. You need to remove the blocks that are keeping your true nature from expressing itself. And what are those blocks? They're beliefs. Beliefs about what you deserve. Beliefs about what's possible for someone like you. Beliefs about what you're capable of. Beliefs you inherited from your parents, your culture, your past experiences, your failures. These beliefs are running your life like software running in the background of a computer. And most of the time, you're not even aware they're there, but they're making every decision for you. They're determining what opportunities you see and which ones you miss. They're controlling what risks you take and which ones you avoid. They're shaping your entire reality. So if you want to enter the biggest season of your life, you have to be willing to examine these beliefs. You have to be willing to question everything you think you know about yourself and about how life works. You have to be willing to let go of the stories that have kept you safe but small. Because here's the thing about growth. It requires you to step into the unknown. It requires you to release your grip on certainty. It requires you to trust in something bigger than your own understanding. Most people are absolutely terrified of the unknown. They would rather stay in a miserable situation they know than risk stepping into possibility they can't control. They would rather complain about their job than take the leap into their passion. They would rather stay in a lukewarm relationship than be alone and open to real love. They would rather maintain the status quo than face the temporary discomfort of transformation. And I understand that. I really do. The known feels safe, even when it's killing you slowly. But safety is an illusion. The only real security in life comes from knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. And you can. You absolutely can. You've already proven this to yourself. Think about everything you've survived up until this point. Think about every challenge you thought would break you but didn't. Think about every time you wanted to give up but somehow found the strength to keep going. You're still here. You're still standing. You're still searching for something more. That's not weakness. That's incredible strength. That's proof that you're ready for what's next. Your biggest season is going to ask things of you that you've never been asked before. It's going to require courage you didn't know you had. It's going to push you beyond your comfort zone in ways that might feel terrifying at first. But that's exactly how you know you're on the right path. Comfort is the enemy of growth. If you're comfortable, you're not expanding. If you're not being challenged, you're not evolving. If everything feels easy, you're probably not pursuing anything worth having. Now, I want to talk about something really important, the relationship between your thoughts and your reality. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where theory becomes practice. Your thoughts are not just passive observations of reality. Your thoughts are creative forces. Every thought you think is sending out a vibration into the universe, and the universe responds to that vibration by bringing you experiences that match it. This isn't mystical nonsense. This is quantum physics. This is how energy works. This is how life works. When you wake up in the morning and your first thought is, not another day of this, you're setting the tone for your entire day. When you look at your bank account and think, I'll never get ahead, you're programming your subconscious mind to find evidence to support that belief. When you look in the mirror and think, I'm not attractive enough, smart enough, talented enough, you're creating that reality. Not because it's true, but because you're focusing all your attention on it. But the opposite is also true. When you wake up and your first thought is, I wonder what miracles will show up today, you're opening yourself to possibility. When you look at your current financial situation and think, this is temporary, I'm on my way to abundance, you're reprogramming your mind for success. When you look in the mirror and think, I am exactly where I need to be, becoming exactly who I'm meant to be, you're stepping into your power. This isn't about lying to yourself or ignoring reality. This is about understanding that what you call reality is just one possible interpretation of circumstances. Two people can experience the exact same event and have completely different experiences of it. One person loses their job and sees it as devastating failure. Another person loses their job and sees it as liberation and opportunity. Same event, different perception, different reality, different outcome. So the question becomes, what reality are you creating with your thoughts right now? Are you using your mental energy to focus on what's wrong, or are you using it to focus on what's possible? Are you rehearsing your limitations, or are you practicing your greatness? Are you telling yourself the story of your past failures, or are you writing the story of your future success? Because whatever you focus on expands, whatever you give your attention to grows, whatever you talk about consistently becomes your reality. Your biggest season demands that you become disciplined about your thoughts, not occasionally, not when you remember. Every single day, every single moment, you have to stand guard at the door of your mind and decide what you're going to allow in and what you're going to keep out. You have to become aware of the conversation you're having with yourself all day long. And most importantly, you have to be willing to change that conversation when it's not serving you. This is inner work. This is the real work. Most people want to change their circumstances without doing this inner work, and it doesn't work that way. You cannot attract a different reality from the same state of being. You have to change first. You have to become the person who already has what you want. You have to think the thoughts that person thinks. You have to feel the feelings that person feels. You have to take the actions that person takes. And then the circumstances will change to match your new state of being. Let me tell you something else that's crucial. You don't need anyone's permission to step into your biggest season. You don't need anyone to believe in you. You don't need anyone to validate your dreams. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're ready. In fact, most people won't understand what you're doing. They'll think you're crazy. They'll tell you to be realistic. They'll project their own fears and limitations onto you, and that's okay. That's not about you. That's about them. The people around you are comfortable with the version of you they know. When you start changing, when you start growing, when you start stepping into your power, it makes them uncomfortable. It holds up a mirror to their own unfulfilled potential. It challenges their belief that staying small and safe is the right choice. So they'll try to pull you back down. Not because they're bad people, but because your growth is threatening to their worldview. Don't let that stop you. Love them anyway, but don't let their fear become your ceiling. Your biggest season might mean leaving some people behind. It might mean creating distance from relationships that drain you. It might mean disappointing people who want you to stay the same. And that's one of the hardest parts of transformation. But here's what you need to understand. You're not responsible for other people's feelings about your growth. You're not being selfish by choosing yourself. You're not being mean by setting boundaries. You're being true to your soul's calling. And anyone who truly loves you will want that for you, even if they don't understand it. As you step into this new season, you're going to meet new people. People who vibrate at the frequency you're moving toward. People who support your vision. People who celebrate your wins instead of minimizing them. People who challenge you to grow instead of encouraging you to play small. This is the law of attraction in action. As you raise your consciousness, you'll naturally attract people, opportunities, and circumstances that match that higher consciousness, but you have to trust the process. You have to be willing to release what no longer serves you to make space for what does. Now, let's talk about failure, because this is where most people quit right before their breakthrough. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every person who has achieved anything meaningful has failed more times than you've probably even tried. The difference is, they didn't let failure define them. They didn't let it mean anything about their worth or their potential. They saw it for what it really is: feedback, information, a course correction, nothing more, nothing less. When you try something and it doesn't work out, you haven't failed. You've learned something valuable. You've discovered one way that doesn't work, which brings you closer to finding the way that does. Edison didn't fail 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. That's not semantics. That's a completely different way of interpreting experience. And that different interpretation makes all the difference in whether you keep going, or give up. Your biggest season will include failures. It will include setbacks. It will include moments when you question everything and wonder if you made a mistake. This is normal. This is part of the process. This is how you build the resilience and wisdom you'll need for the next level. Don't run from these moments. Don't see them as signs that you're on the wrong path. See them as evidence that you're on the right path because you're being tested and refined. Gold isn't purified by being comfortable. It's purified by going through fire. You're being purified right now. I want you to understand something about your desires. The dreams you carry, the visions you have for your life, they weren't randomly assigned to you. You didn't just happen to want what you want. Those desires were planted in you by the same source that created you. They're part of your purpose. They're breadcrumbs leading you toward your destiny. So when you feel that pull towards something more, don't dismiss it as unrealistic or foolish. Honor it, follow it, trust it. It's there for a reason. But here's the catch. You don't get to control how it unfolds. You don't get to dictate the timeline. You don't get to see the whole path before you take the first step. You have to be willing to move forward with incomplete information. You have to be willing to take action before you feel ready. You have to be willing to trust that the path will appear as you walk it. This is faith. Not religious faith necessarily, although it can be. This is faith in the process. Faith in the intelligence that orchestrates all of life. Faith that you're being guided even when you can't see where you're going. Most people want guarantees before they commit. They want to know that it's going to work out before they risk anything. But that's not how life works. That's not how growth works. That's not how magic happens. The universe doesn't reward certainty. The universe rewards faith in action. It rewards the willingness to step into the unknown. It rewards the courage to bet on yourself even when the odds seem stacked against you. And here's something beautiful. The moment you make a real commitment, the universe conspires to support you. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. People show up to help you. Resources appear. Synchronicities happen. Not because you're lucky, because you've aligned yourself with your purpose. And when you do that, you tap into a power that's infinitely greater than your individual effort. You become a channel for something bigger than yourself to work through you. This is what it means to be in flow. This is what it means to be in alignment. This is what it feels like when you're living your biggest season. Things still require effort, but there's an ease to it. There's a sense of rightness. There's a feeling of being carried by something larger than yourself. And that's available to you right now. Not someday, not when you've figured everything out. Right now, in this moment, with exactly what you have, exactly where you are. You don't need more time. You don't need more money. You don't need more skills. You don't need more connections. You need more commitment. You need more clarity. You need more courage. And all of those things are available to you right now. They're not out there somewhere. They're inside you, waiting to be activated, waiting for you to decide that this is your time, that this is your season, that you're done playing small, that you're done waiting for permission, that you're done living a fraction of the life you're capable of living. Let me tell you what happens when you really commit, when you burn the boats and decide there's no turning back, when you stop entertaining backup plans and put all your energy into your primary vision, when you stop hedging your bets and go all in. That's when everything changes. That's when the universe takes you seriously. That's when doors start opening. That's when the right people show up. That's when opportunities appear out of nowhere. Because you've finally given the universe something clear to respond to. You've finally sent out a signal that says, I'm ready, I'm serious, I'm committed. Up until now, you might have been sending mixed signals. You say you want something, but your actions don't match your words. You say you're committed, but you keep one foot out the door. You say this is your priority, but you don't protect time for it. You say you believe in yourself, but you let the first obstacle stop you. The universe responds to your actions, not your intentions. It responds to who you're being, not who you're thinking about becoming. So if you want to enter the biggest season of your life, you have to become unmistakable in your commitment. You have to show up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. You have to do the work when it's hard and when it's boring and when nobody's watching and when it feels like nothing's happening. Because that's when you're building the foundation. That's when you're developing the character. That's when you're proving to yourself and to the universe that you're serious. And here's what nobody tells you about commitment. It's liberating. When you're half in and half out, you're in constant conflict. Part of you wants to go forward, part of you wants to retreat. It's exhausting, it's confusing, it's paralyzing. But when you fully commit, all that inner conflict disappears. You're no longer debating whether you should do it, you're only figuring out how. You're no longer questioning if it's possible. You're only discovering the way. All that energy that was going into doubt and fear and hesitation now goes into creation and action and manifestation. This is what it means to be alive. Not just existing, going through the motions, numbing yourself to get through each day. Really alive, engaged, excited, awake, contributing something meaningful, creating something that matters, becoming someone you're proud of. This is what your soul craves. This is what you were born for. Not comfort, not security, not approval, purpose, growth, contribution, love. These are the things that make life worth living. And your biggest season is going to give you all of that. But it's going to ask you to release the things that are keeping you from it. It's going to ask you to let go of the need to control everything. It's going to ask you to surrender your attachment to how you think things should look. It's going to ask you to trust the process even when it doesn't make sense. It's going to ask you to be patient and persistent in equal measure. It's going to ask you to keep showing up even when you can't see results yet. Because here's the thing about transformation. It happens slowly and then all at once. You work and work and work and it feels like nothing's changing. You keep planting seeds and watering them and you don't see any growth. You keep taking action and it feels like you're spinning your wheels. And then one day, seemingly overnight, everything shifts. Everything clicks into place. Everything blooms. But it wasn't overnight. It was all those days and weeks and months of invisible progress that suddenly became visible. This is where you are right now. You're in that phase where you're planting seeds, where you're doing the inner work, where you're shifting your consciousness, where you're taking action even though you can't see results yet, and it might feel frustrating. It might feel like it's taking too long. It might feel like nothing's happening, but I promise you, everything is happening. Under the surface, where you can't see it, transformation is taking place. Your job is to trust that. Your job is to keep going. Your job is to stay committed even when it's hard, and it will be hard sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that once you commit to your biggest season, everything becomes easy. It doesn't. In fact, it might get harder before it gets easier. Because you're being asked to grow. You're being asked to become someone you've never been. You're being asked to develop capacities you don't currently have. That requires stretching. That requires discomfort. That requires persistence through difficulty. But here's what makes it worth it. Every time you push through discomfort, you expand your capacity. Every time you face a fear and do it anyway, you become more courageous. Every time you fail and get back up, you become more resilient. Every time you choose your vision over your circumstances, you become more powerful. You're not just working toward external goals. You're becoming someone new. You're transforming from the inside out. And that transformation is the real gift. Because here's the secret that most people never understand. It's not actually about the achievement. It's about who you become in the pursuit of the achievement. The success is wonderful, don't get me wrong. But the real treasure is the person you had to become to achieve it. That version of you, the one who has overcome all the obstacles, who has developed all those new capacities, who has stretched beyond all previous limitations, that person is unstoppable. That person can create anything. That person is truly free. And that's who you're becoming right now. In this season, through everything you're experiencing, through every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt, every leap of faith, you're becoming that person. The person you were always meant to be, the person you came here to be, the person who is capable of living the life you dream about. So stop waiting, stop preparing, stop overthinking, stop looking for signs. This is the sign. These words, right now, this is your confirmation. You're ready, you're called, you're capable. Everything you need is already within you. Everything you need is already available to you. Everything you need is already conspiring to support you. You just have to say yes. You just have to take the first step. You just have to trust that the path will unfold. Your biggest season is here, not coming. not on its way. Here, now, in this moment. It begins with a decision to see yourself differently, a decision to honor your dreams, a decision to trust your inner guidance, a decision to take action despite fear, a decision to keep going despite obstacles, a decision to become who you were born to be. Make that decision right now. Don't wait another day. Don't wait another hour. Don't wait another minute. Your life is waiting for you to claim it. Your purpose is waiting for you to step into it. Your destiny is waiting for you to fulfill it. Everything that has happened to you, everything you've survived, everything you've learned, it was all preparing you for this moment. This is your time. This is your season. This is your opportunity to create the life you've always known was possible. Not the life that others think you should live. Not the life that's safe and predictable. The life that makes your soul sing. The life that honors your gifts. The life that serves your purpose. The life that leaves a legacy. That life is available to you right now. All you have to do is choose it. All you have to do is commit to it. All you have to do is become it. And when you do, when you really commit, when you really step into your power, when you really align with your purpose, you'll look back at this moment and recognize it as the turning point. The moment when everything changed. The moment when you decided that enough was enough. The moment when you stopped settling. The moment when you started truly living. This is that moment. Right here. Right now. Don't let it pass you by. Don't let fear win. Don't let doubt sabotage you. Don't let circumstances limit you. You're bigger than all of that. You're capable of so much more than you've allowed yourself to experience so far. The truth is, you've always known this. Somewhere inside you, beneath all the conditioning and the fear and the limiting beliefs, you've always known that you were meant for something great. You've always felt that pull toward more. You've always sensed that there's a bigger life waiting for you. That knowing never goes away. It might get quieter. It might get buried under responsibilities and disappointments and practicality. But it never disappears. And right now, it's calling to you louder than ever. That's why you're here. That's why you're reading this. That's why something inside you is stirring and waking up and saying yes. Listen to that voice. Trust that voice. Follow that voice. It's the voice of your true self. It's the voice of your soul. It's the voice of the infinite intelligence that lives within you. It knows the way. It knows your purpose. It knows what you're capable of. And it's guiding you toward your biggest season. All you have to do is get out of your own way. All you have to do is release the resistance. All you have to do is surrender to the flow. All you have to do is trust. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly. Trust that you have everything you need. Trust that you're being guided and supported and loved. Trust that your biggest season is not just possible, it's inevitable, because it is. When you align with your purpose, when you commit to your growth, when you choose love over fear, when you take action despite uncertainty, you become unstoppable. The universe has no choice but to respond to that kind of commitment. Doors open, opportunities appear, people show up, miracles happen, and that's what's waiting for you. That's what's available to you. That's what's yours to claim. Your biggest season, your greatest life, your highest purpose. It's all right there, waiting for you to step into it. So take a breath. Feel the power of this moment. Feel the possibility. Feel the truth of who you really are. And then make the decision. The decision that changes everything. The decision that transforms your life. The decision to become who you were born to be. Make that decision right now. Your biggest season is here. And you're ready. You've always been ready. Now it's time to live like it. You know, there's something beautiful about this moment right now. Right here, right now, you're exactly where you need to be. I know you might be thinking about all the things that haven't happened yet. All the dreams that seem delayed, all the doors that appear closed. But what if I told you that everything, absolutely everything, is unfolding exactly as it should? What if the very thing you're resisting is the thing that's preparing you for what you've been asking for? God said, relax. Those 3 simple words contain more wisdom than 1,000 books on achievement and success. Relax. Not give up. Not stop trying. Not abandon your dreams. But relax. Release the grip. Loosen the stranglehold you have on how and when things should happen. Because here's what I've learned after years of teaching and living this truth. The universe has a timing that is infinitely more precise than anything our minds could ever calculate. You see, we live in a world that tells us to hustle harder, push more, force things to happen. We're taught that if something isn't happening, it's because we're not doing enough. So we push and strain and exhaust ourselves, trying to make things happen on our timeline. And in that pushing, in that resistance, we actually block the very flow that would bring us what we desire. It's like trying to force a flower to bloom by pulling at its petals. You don't make things grow faster by stressing about them. You make them grow by providing the right conditions and then trusting the process. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, you give it sunlight, and you trust that beneath the surface, something magnificent is happening. There's an intelligence in nature that knows exactly how long that seed needs to be in the darkness before it breaks through to the light. And that same intelligence is working in your life right now. The same force that turns an acorn into an oak tree, that transforms a caterpillar into a butterfly, that keeps the planets in their orbits. That force is orchestrating the events of your life with perfect precision. But we forget this. We look at our circumstances and we think we know better. We think we know when things should happen. We think we know how they should unfold. And when they don't match our mental picture, when our timeline doesn't align with divine timing, we panic. We think something's wrong. We think we're being denied. We think we're not good enough or we're being punished. But what if none of that is true? What if the delay is actually divine protection? What if what you think is a denial is actually a redirection towards something better? I want you to think about this for a moment. How many times in your life have you wanted something so badly, and when you didn't get it, you were devastated? And then, months or years later, you looked back and thought, thank God that didn't work out. Maybe it was a relationship that ended, and you thought your world was over, only to meet someone later who was perfect for you. Maybe it was a job you didn't get, and you were crushed, only to find a better opportunity that you would have missed if you'd gotten that first one. Maybe it was a house that fell through, only to find your dream home a few months later. Life is full of these examples, and yet we still don't trust. We still think we know better than the infinite intelligence that's running the show. God's timing is not about making you wait for the sake of waiting. It's not some cosmic test to see how much suffering you can endure. Divine timing is about preparation. It's about getting you ready for what you've asked for. Because here's the truth. If you received everything you wanted the moment you wanted it, you wouldn't be ready for it. You'd either destroy it or it would destroy you. Think about lottery winners who lose everything within a few years. They got the money, but they weren't prepared for it. They hadn't developed the consciousness to sustain that level of abundance. The same principle applies to everything in life. The relationship you desire requires you to become a certain kind of person. The success you want requires you to develop certain qualities. The life you're dreaming of requires you to expand into a larger version of yourself. And that expansion takes time. Right now, in this very moment, you are being prepared. Every experience you're having, every challenge you're facing, every moment of waiting is developing something in you. It's building patience, it's deepening faith, it's strengthening character, it's cultivating wisdom. You're being shaped and molded into the person who can handle the blessings that are coming. And when the timing is perfect, when you're truly ready, when all the pieces are in place, what you've been asking for will arrive so effortlessly, it will almost seem magical. But it's not magic. It's divine orchestration. The problem is, we measure everything by clock time. We think in terms of minutes and hours and days and years. But God operates in a different kind of time. It's not linear. It's not measured. It's eternal. From the perspective of infinite intelligence, there is no too late. There is no missed opportunity. There is only perfect timing. When you align yourself with this truth, when you really trust it in your bones, you stop struggling. You stop forcing. You stop exhausting yourself trying to make things happen. And in that state of relaxation, of allowing, you actually become a magnet for everything you desire. Think about water for a moment. Water is the most powerful force on earth. It can carve through mountains, it can shape landscapes, it can wear down the hardest stone. But water doesn't force. Water flows. It takes the path of least resistance. It goes around obstacles. It's patient. It's persistent. And eventually, it gets where it's going. That's how you need to move through life. Not with force, but with flow. Not with resistance, but with trust. Not with anxiety, but with peace. When you're in alignment with divine timing, you'll notice something interesting happens. You stop feeling anxious about the future. You stop obsessing about when things will happen. You stop comparing yourself to other people and their timelines. You start feeling peaceful right where you are. You start enjoying the present moment instead of constantly living in the future. You start noticing the blessings that are already here instead of only focusing on what's missing. And from that state of presence and peace, you actually accelerate your manifestations because you're no longer blocking them with your resistance. Let me tell you something about faith. Real faith isn't believing that God will give you what you want when you want it. Real faith is trusting that God will give you what you need when you need it. It's trusting that the intelligence that created you, that breathed life into you, that sustains you in every moment, that intelligence knows what it's doing. It's not confused. It's not making mistakes. It's not overlooking you. It sees you. It knows you. It loves you. And it's working everything out for your highest good, even when you can't see how. You want to know what surrender really means? It doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming passive. It doesn't mean you stop taking action. Surrender means releasing your attachment to outcomes. It means doing what you feel called to do and then letting go of how and when the results will come. It means planting your seeds and then trusting the soil. It means showing up fully in your life while simultaneously releasing the need to control every detail. It means saying, I'll do my part and I'll trust you to do yours. There's a difference between being interested in something and being committed to it. When you're interested, you do it when it's convenient. When you're committed, you do it no matter what. But there's an even higher level than commitment. It's called surrender. Surrender means you're committed to your vision, you're committed to your growth, you're committed to showing up, but you're not attached to controlling the timeline. You're not stressed about the how. You're not worried about the when. You've handed it over to something greater than yourself, and you trust that greater power completely. This is where miracles happen. Not when you're gripping and grasping and trying to force, but when you're relaxed and open and trusting. When you create space for something greater to work through you. When you get your ego out of the way and let divine intelligence do what it does best, your job is not to figure out how everything is going to work out. Your job is not to control every variable. Your job is to listen to your inner guidance, take inspired action, and then relax into the knowing that it's all being handled. You know what's interesting about anxiety? Anxiety is living in the future. It's projecting yourself into a time that doesn't exist yet and creating fearful scenarios in your mind. Depression is often living in the past, ruminating on what went wrong, what you lost, what you should have done differently. But peace, real peace, exists only in the present moment, right here, right now. And in this present moment, you are okay. In this present moment, you are breathing. In this present moment, you are alive. In this present moment, you are held by a power greater than yourself. God said, relax, because God knows that your constant worrying doesn't change anything except your health and your happiness. Your stress doesn't speed things up. Your anxiety doesn't make things happen faster. In fact, it slows everything down because you're operating from a frequency of lack and fear instead of abundance and trust. When you're worried about money, you're in the vibration of not having money. When you're anxious about a relationship, you're in the vibration of being alone. When you're stressed about your health, you're in the vibration of sickness, and the universe responds to your vibration, not your words. You can say affirmations all day long, but if underneath those words you're vibrating with fear and doubt, you're not going to attract what you want. But when you truly relax, when you truly trust, when you truly surrender, you shift your vibration. You move into a state of allowing, and in that state things can come to you. Opportunities can find you, people can show up, doors can open, synchronicities can occur, because you're not blocking the flow with your resistance anymore. Here's something I need you to understand. Everything you want already exists in the quantum field of all possibilities. It's already there. Your dream life, your ideal relationship, your perfect health, your financial abundance, it's all already there in potential form. Your job is not to create it, your job is to align with it, to match the frequency of it, to become it in your consciousness before you see it in your reality. And you can't do that from a place of desperation and striving. You can only do that from a place of peace and knowing. When you know something is yours, you don't chase it. You don't worry about it. You don't obsess over it. You just know it. Like you know the sun will rise tomorrow. You don't stay up all night worrying about whether the sun will rise. You just trust that it will. That's the level of certainty you need to cultivate about your desires. Not hoping they'll come. Not wishing they'll come. But knowing they're already on their way. Knowing that in divine timing, everything you've asked for is being delivered. And while you're waiting, while things are being arranged, while you're being prepared, what do? You live. You enjoy your life right now. You appreciate what you have. You find joy in the simple things. You love the people around you. You do work that matters. You take care of your body. You feed your mind. You nourish your spirit. You don't put your life on hold until your dreams come true. You live fully in this moment, because this moment is all you have. This moment is where life is happening. Not in the future when everything works out, not in the past when things were different. Right here, right now. There's a beautiful paradox in spiritual life. The more you let go of needing things to be different, the faster things change. The more you accept where you are, the quicker you move forward. The more you love yourself as you are, the more you transform. Because you're no longer sending the universe the message that you're incomplete, that you're lacking, that you're not enough. You're sending the message that you're whole and complete right now, and anything that comes is just an addition to your already abundant life. God isn't withholding from you. God is preparing you. God isn't making you wait to punish you. God is making you wait to bless you more than you can currently handle. God isn't denying your prayers. God is answering them in ways you haven't recognized yet. God isn't late. God is right on time. Every single time. Not your time. Divine time. And divine time is always, always perfect. You see, when you look back on your life, you'll be able to connect the dots. You'll see how everything had to happen exactly as it did to bring you to where you are. You'll see how the delays were actually protections. How the closed doors led to better doors. How the pain created the depth, how the waiting developed the wisdom, how every single thing, even the things you thought were mistakes or failures, were actually perfectly placed stepping stones on your path. But you can only see this in hindsight. In the moment, you have to trust. You have to have faith. You have to relax and know that it's all working out. And here's what trust really looks like. Trust doesn't mean you never feel afraid. Trust means you feel the fear and you move forward anyway. Trust doesn't mean you never have doubts. Trust means you acknowledge the doubts and you choose faith instead. Trust doesn't mean everything always feels easy. Trust means that even when it's hard, you believe there's a purpose to the difficulty. Trust is not the absence of uncertainty. Trust is peace in the midst of uncertainty. It's calm in the center of the storm. It's knowing that no matter what's happening on the surface, there's a deeper current that's carrying you exactly where you need to go. You don't have to understand how it's all going to work out. You just have to know that it will. You don't have to see the entire staircase. You just have to take the next step. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to stay connected to the source of all answers. And that source is always available to you. It's not somewhere out there. It's inside you. It's the quiet voice that speaks in the silence. It's the gentle nudge that guides you. It's the feeling in your heart that says yes this way or no, not yet. That's divine intelligence communicating with you. And when you learn to listen to it, when you learn to follow it, your life becomes so much easier. Stop trying to force open doors that are meant to stay closed right now. Stop trying to convince people who aren't ready to see you. Stop trying to make something happen before it's time. There's a season for everything. A time to plant and a time to harvest. A time to act and a time to rest. A time to push forward and a time to wait. And the wisdom is in knowing which season you're in and acting accordingly. Right now, if things aren't moving the way you want them to, maybe you're in a season of preparation. Maybe you're in a season of learning. Maybe you're in a season of healing. Maybe you're in a season of waiting. And that's okay. Honor the season you're in instead of resisting it. There's tremendous power in acceptance. Not resignation, but acceptance. Resignation says this is terrible and there's nothing I can do about it. Acceptance says this is what is and I can work with what is. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop wanting things to be better. It means you stop fighting against what is. It means you stop wasting energy on resistance and instead channel that energy into response, into taking whatever action feels right from a place of peace rather than panic. You want to know what's blocking most people from receiving what they desire? It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of opportunity. It's not lack of resources. It's lack of trust. It's the constant anxiety that it won't work out. It's the persistent belief that you have to do it all yourself. It's the exhausting habit of trying to control everything. When you release that, when you truly let go and trust, you'll be amazed at how quickly things start to shift. Not because you're doing more, but because you're allowing more. God said, relax. And in that relaxation, in that surrender, in that trust, you open yourself up to receive. You become a vessel that divine intelligence can work through. You become a channel that blessings can flow through. You become available to miracles. Because miracles happen all the time. They're happening right now. But you can only see them when you're not blinded by your own agenda, your own timeline, your own ideas about how things should be. What if everything that's happening is actually preparing you for something so good, so beautiful, so perfect, that you couldn't have even conceived of it with your limited mind? What if the universe is conspiring in your favor in ways you can't see yet? What if every disappointment is actually an appointment with something better? What if every ending is actually a new beginning? What if every no is actually redirecting you to a bigger yes? What if you're not behind? What if you're not running out of time? What if you're exactly on schedule for your highest destiny? Your soul has a blueprint. Before you were born, before you took your first breath, there was a plan for your life. Not a rigid, fixed plan that can't be changed, but a general outline of what you came here to experience, to learn, to give, to become. And that plan is unfolding perfectly. Every twist and turn, every up and down, every joy and sorrow, it's all part of your unique path. And you can trust that path. You can trust the timing of that path because it's being guided by an intelligence that sees the beginning and the end simultaneously. From the human perspective, we can only see a few steps ahead. We're limited by time and space. We can only process information sequentially. But the divine perspective sees everything all at once. It sees all the consequences of all the choices. It sees all the connections between all the events. It sees how everything fits together in the grand tapestry of your life. And it's weaving that tapestry with such precision, such care, such love. Every thread matters. Every color has a purpose. Even the dark threads create the contrast that makes the bright threads shine even brighter. So when you're in a dark period, when you're in a difficult season, when you're in a time of waiting, remember that even this has purpose. Even this is part of the pattern. Even this is being woven into something beautiful. You just can't see the full picture yet because you're still in the middle of the weaving. But one day, when you step back, when you see the completed tapestry, you'll understand why every single thread had to be exactly where it was. And until that day comes, until you can see the full picture, you have to walk by faith. You have to trust in the dark. You have to believe when you can't see. You have to know even when you don't understand. And that's not always easy. Faith is simple, but it's not always easy. Because your mind wants explanations. Your ego wants control. Your fear wants guarantees. But faith says, I don't need explanations. I don't need control. I don't need guarantees. I just need to know that I'm being taken care of. I just need to know that there's a higher power at work. I just need to know that it's all going to be okay. And it is all going to be okay. More than okay, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be worth the wait. It's going to make sense why things had to happen the way they did. You're going to look back and see the divine hand in everything. You're going to recognize the blessings in the difficulties. You're going to appreciate the wisdom you gained from the challenges. You're going to be grateful for the timing, even though it didn't match your preferences. Because you'll see that divine timing protected you, prepared you, and positioned you perfectly for what was coming. So right now, in this moment, I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to feel your body relax. I want you to release the tension you've been holding, the tension in your shoulders from carrying burdens that aren't yours to carry, the tightness in your chest from worrying about things you can't control, the heaviness in your heart from thinking you're alone in this. Let it all go. Just let it go. You don't have to carry it anymore. You were never meant to carry it all yourself. God said, relax because God wants to carry it for you. The universe wants to support you. Divine intelligence wants to guide you, but you have to let it. You have to get out of the way. You have to stop trying to be in charge of everything. You have to admit that maybe, just maybe, there's a power greater than you that actually knows what it's doing. And when you make that admission, when you surrender to that truth, everything changes. You start to notice the signs. You start to see the synchronicities. You start to feel the support. You start to witness the miracles. Not because they weren't there before, but because you're finally paying attention. You're finally looking with the eyes of faith instead of the eyes of fear. And what you look for, you find. When you look for evidence that you're alone and unsupported, you'll find it. When you look for evidence that you're guided and loved, you'll find that too. So choose what you're looking for. Choose what you're focusing on. Choose what you're believing in. Believe that you are divinely guided. Believe that you are infinitely loved. Believe that you are being prepared for something wonderful. Believe that your prayers are being answered. Believe that your dreams are on their way. Believe that your life is unfolding perfectly. Believe that you are exactly where you need to be. Believe that everything is working out for your highest good. Not because you can prove it, not because you can see it yet, but because belief is what creates the reality. Faith is what opens the door. Trust is what allows the blessings to flow. And when the doubts come, because they will come, don't fight them. Don't judge yourself for having them. Just notice them and choose again. Choose faith over fear. Choose trust over worry. Choose peace over anxiety. It's a choice you have to make moment by moment, day by day. Nobody can do it for you. But every time you make that choice, it gets a little easier. Every time you choose trust, you strengthen that muscle. Every time you choose peace, you create more space for good to enter your life. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a creator of your reality. But you create through your consciousness, not through your effort. You create through your vibration, not through your struggle. You create through your alignment with divine intelligence, not through your separation from it. And alignment comes from relaxation, from trust, from surrender. It comes from being instead of doing. It comes from faith instead of force. So be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself. You're doing the best you can with what you know right now, and that's enough. You are enough. Right now, exactly as you are. You are enough. You don't have to achieve anything else to be worthy. You don't have to become someone else to be lovable. You don't have to wait until everything is perfect to be happy. You can be all of those things right now. You can experience worthiness right now. You can feel love right now. You can choose happiness right now. Because happiness is not something you find at the end of the journey. Happiness is not the destination. Happiness is the vehicle that takes you to the destination. When you're happy now, when you're grateful now, when you're peaceful now, you attract more things to be happy about, more things to be grateful for, more things that bring you peace. But when you postpone your happiness until your circumstances change, you create a perpetual state of waiting. And life is not about waiting. Life is about living. Right here, right now, in this moment. This is it. This is your life. Not someday when everything works out. Not in the future when you have everything you want. But right now. And right now is pretty good when you really look at it. You're alive. You have another day. You have another chance. You have another opportunity to grow, to love, to give, to experience, to become. That's a gift. That's a blessing. And when you start recognizing the blessings that are already here, more blessings come. Because gratitude is a magnet for good things. So practice gratitude every single day, not as a technique to get more, but as a way of being, as a way of seeing, as a way of living. Be grateful for what you have while you're waiting for what you want. Be grateful for how far you've come while you're heading toward where you're going. Be grateful for the lessons and the challenges. Be grateful for the growth and the pain. Be grateful for the strength you didn't know you had until you needed it. Be grateful for the resilience you've developed. Be grateful for the wisdom you've gained. Be grateful for this moment, this breath, this life. And in that state of gratitude, in that vibration of appreciation, you'll find that you're already living in abundance. You'll realize that you've been rich all along, just maybe not in the ways you thought. You're rich in experiences. You're rich in relationships. You're rich in opportunities. You're rich in potential. You're rich in life itself. And that's the greatest wealth there is. God said relax because God knows something you're still learning. God knows that everything you need will come to you at exactly the right time. God knows that you are being guided and protected every step of the way. God knows that there's a plan for your life that is more beautiful than anything you could plan for yourself. God knows that you are loved beyond measure. God knows that you are never alone. God knows that you are capable of handling whatever comes. God knows that you are stronger than you think. God knows that you are braver than you believe. God knows that you are more powerful than you realize. And God is asking you to know that too, to trust that too, to live from that truth, to stop doubting yourself, to stop questioning your worth, to stop wondering if you're enough. You are enough. You have always been enough. You will always be enough, not because of what you do or what you achieve or what you accumulate, but because of who you are, because you are a divine creation, because you are a spark of the infinite, because you are loved by the source of all love. So relax into that love, rest in that knowledge, trust in that truth, and let everything else unfold as it will. Do your part, yes. Show up, yes. Take action, yes. But then release the outcome. Let go of the timeline, surrender the how, and trust that divine intelligence is handling all the details you can't see. Trust that everything is being arranged on your behalf. Trust that you are being led to your highest good. Trust that the best is yet to come. Your breakthrough is coming. Your answer is coming. Your miracle is coming. Your blessing is coming. Your healing is coming. Your opportunity is coming. Your person is coming. Your moment is coming. It's all coming in divine timing, in perfect timing, in the timing that serves your highest growth and greatest good. And until it arrives, until you see it manifest in your physical reality, live in the knowing that it's already done. Live in the peace that it's already arranged. Live in the joy that it's already on its way. God said, relax. So relax your mind, relax your body, relax your grip on outcomes, relax your need to control, relax your anxiety about the future, relax your regrets about the past, relax into this present moment, relax into trust, relax into faith. Relax into love. Relax into the knowing that you are held, you are guided, you are loved, and everything is going to work out beautifully. Better than you can possibly think, in ways you couldn't have planned. With timing that is absolutely perfect, just relax and let it come to you. Because it will. It always does. Everything you need comes to you when you're ready to receive it. And your job is simply to stay open, stay trusting, stay grateful, and stay relaxed. That's when the magic happens. That's when the miracles arrive. That's when life becomes the beautiful adventure it was always meant to be.